Collaborating with other professionals is part of everyday practice in health and social care. A number of terms have been used to describe professional working together, such as multi-professional, multidisciplinary, interprofessional collaboration, and partnership working. Welcome to Multi-Professional Collaboration Podcast. Today we will discuss about multi-professional collaboration experiences with three experts from the field of social care, healthcare, and interpreting services. My name is Arja Suikkala. I have three guests in this podcast. Senior lecturer Kristiina Roosqvist. Her background is in nursing. Hi, Kristiina.
Hi, everybody.
Then we will have here senior lecturer Ulla Niittyinperä. Her background is in sign language area. Hi, Ulla.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
And senior lecturer Lauri Urjas. His background is in social field. Hi, Lauri.
All right. Good morning. Hello, everybody. So my background is in social work.
Kristiina, your background is in nursing. If you think about your nursing career, who are the people who have impressed you the most in your career? For example, tell us about a person, for example, client or patient, or another professional that have touched your heart or changed your professional practice.
Okay, thank you. Well, I could tell you one patient case which has affected to me a lot. I will remember that for the rest of my life. And this happened when I had started to work as a nurse on surgical ward. I was taking care of the patient who was a 50 years old woman, and she had just got the information of the lung cancer. And the patient had a big lung surgery coming on the following day. And I met her the day before that. I made all the preparations for her in the evening. And suddenly she got some heart palpitations. And she felt a shortness of breath. And of course, I took the ECG and contacted the doctor. Well, the ECG was just normal, and that information helped her a little bit. And after that, I had a conversation with her, and she told me that half a year ago, her husband had passed away suddenly, and at the same time, her close sister had got a cancer diagnosis. And then just a couple of months later, she got to know that she has this tumor in her lungs. And she was very scared of that, of course, and scared of the operation. And she was so happy that I sat next to her and asked how she is feeling. And all these symptoms in heart she had due to that burden she needed to carry on during these months. And after our conversation, a tear came to my eye. And after that, I have always remembered to meet the patient of the holistic perspective and remember to ask how she or he is feeling. I think this is the most important thing in nursing. We never should focus only to the tasks. That's one thing I want to share with you.
Thank you. Lauri, how about you? Who have touched your heart or changed your professional practice in your work in social work?
Okay, thanks, Arja, and great thanks for Kristiina. Her case story, her narrative was also putting me to think some of my service users, my clients in my early stage of my career, but I have decided to discuss about what I have learned from my first boss. In early 80s, I was starting my working career during my studies. Actually, from the third semester until I was graduating, I was both full-time working and studying at the same time in adult social work. And those days we didn't have any practical placement in social work studies in Turku University. It's difficult to believe, but it was like that. But luckily I started to work as social worker in different services in adult social work field. So I was making handmade exposure with absolute poverty in Turku. My people, my service users were most vulnerable, marginalized people like homeless people and addicted people in Turku city. My background was in social work studies and sociology, so I was interested in society and society's success and changes what are taking place in society. But my first boss, she was a leader of the adult social services in Turku. She was giving me a lesson when I was starting my studies. She was saying first for me that if you want to stay with us, please forget your dreams to change society according to Habermas' critical interest. This place is not a place where we are running a revolution. These are services where you use Habermas' technical interest with your service users. You must be able to provide them everything which is included for social services. You must be able to practice everything what you have learned in university about social security, but take good care of your tool package, Lauri. You have to update your information about social security all the time. And Raila was continuing. Habermas' third interest is interest of understanding, and this was the lesson for me when I was starting my career as a social worker. Lauri, if you want to empower your service users, please look at yourself. The ability to empower another person requires self-awareness. Please familiarize yourself with your own background, practice your own values, and most important for you is to get to know your own shadows. So I know I have to study about my own background, my personal history to be able to work with other people. That was the lesson which was affecting a lot in my career. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauri. Ulla, your background is in the field of sign language. A common language is especially emphasized when a person is in the need of help or support. Who are the people who have been the most influential to you?
Yes, that's true. I'm kind of three-dimension interpreter. I work as a sign language interpreter and also as a speech-to-text interpreter and an AAC interpreter, which means an alternative and augmentative communication methods for the people who have speech disabilities. And of course, the people who I work with, our customers, our clients, they have a very strong influence because they have so individual experiences about the life and what's happening. And as an interpreter, we can take part of their lives in the very early phase in the birth and in the very late years for example, in the when the palliative care is taken. So that's a main thing, that the people who are our customers, they have influenced for me. Also because the sign language is the language that the deaf people use, and the sign language is not an international language. It has, all the countries has their own national sign language, or even several of them. In Finland, we have 2 national sign languages. And we as interpreters work as delivers. We deliver the message, that we don't decide what the person is doing or going to, for example, buy or decide. We are just delivering the information. So this is the visual language, and it's about the communication. And these 2 dimensions are very interesting. they have been very interesting and inflected for me very strongly, because when you learn the language that the deaf people are using, and they are using hands and eyes, it's very new experience for the people who have used to use their ears and audio vocal channel to communicate. So it kind of enlarges your brain that you can, okay, people can express themselves by signing, and they can discuss very deeply about everything in the world. And the most influential person, or the who are they? It was very interesting question. I was thinking this, and in the beginning of my career, I had to say that it has been my teachers in the interpreter training. It was since 1995, 1998, when I studied sign language interpreting in the very beginning, and we had deaf and hearing teachers, and they all shown their own expertise how to use this language as a working language and as a natural language also. And I have been lucky to meet also some sign language researchers, for example, Elisabeth Engbert Pedersen from Denmark and Sherman Wilcox, and they have shown also that this is a real language and it's a worth of research, and write articles about sign language and sign language users and the communication. So they have also had the influence for me in the early 2000, about 25 years ago. But I think also one very important thing that all our clients and customers have taught us is what Kalle Könkkölä, he was a very famous and active speaker of the disabled people. And he said, nothing about us without us. And that's the same thing that we need to remember when we plan something or do something with the disabled people or with the deaf people, that we, as when we are group of the hearing people or non-disabled people, we cannot decide things for them without taking them with us in the very early phase. That's a very good thing to remember.
Yes, that's true. Ulla, what's the biggest surprise you have had in your career, and why?
If somebody has told me 25 years ago that you are going to do this and this and this, and I wouldn't have believed that. So how interesting and how variable this working life and career has been, that has been the most biggest surprise, that I have been always very curious to say yes, everything, and take part. So that's maybe one reason for that, but I have got so interesting possibilities and met so interesting people around the world. And that's still something I'm amazed that I have met people from Africa and from Asia and Europe, from different countries and different projects. Then that has been the most biggest surprise.
How about you, Christina? What's the biggest surprise you have had in your career, and why?
Well, I think that the amount of knowledge is one thing. I mean that we have so much knowledge in our multi-professional teams, and we always should remember to deliver it to each others. I think that teaching somebody is the best way to learn yourself. So this is a good resource for every one of us.
Oh, thank you. Lauri, what is the most important memory in your career in social work?
Thanks, Arja. This is important question, and I can't give you only one issue as my answer, so I have two topics in my mind. First, I was working with addicted people, and most often it was between two organizations and different and two professions. So I was working in adult social work, in city, municipality administration, and my peers, they were working at addiction clinic. I was very often working with nurses with specific cases to be able to help and support the service user. And one of the main learnings for me was that partnership between different organizations and between different professions. What was the most important for me? I learned it when I was studying during my working career. I was studying solution-based social work, solution-based therapy. And what I have learned, I hope it's still true. The service user is the subject. The person is specialist with everything accumulating the one, not me as a social worker. As a social worker, I learned a lot about solution-based approach. I was studying it and I was practicing it. I hoped I learned to stay in not knowing position. Empowering people means giving tools for the service user, possibilities for person to estimate, to reflect, and to solve, and to put action the plans the person has done for him herself. It's not about my special skills, it's about skills what I can help the service user to find in him herself.
Thank you, Lauri. I think the empowerment is the thing that we can all share. That is very important when we work with people who need help and support. Christina, what advice would you give to someone who is studying to become a nurse?
The opportunities in healthcare sector are limitless. You can work as a nurse in many different places, either in hospitals or healthcare centers or in some projects or so on. So you don't need to know that when you are starting your career. And I think that is a good thing. And you can always develop yourself and specialize to some field and become very good on it. And but wherever you work, meeting people is always present in every place. So I think that this is the most important thing in nursing.
Ulla, what advice would you give to someone who is wanting to pursue a career similar to yours, or those who collaborate with sign language experts?
For those who are studying this area and field, sign language or AAC communication, I want them to courage to be curious, to meet new people and take new opportunities and say yes. If you say always no, then you miss something. But if you say yes and go with the new things, then you will get more to your career. And I think the people who are not so used to work with the sign language experts or sign language interpreters, I would like them to courage for the interaction. So if you're not a sign language user by yourself, then you can use sign language interpreters. So if you want to interact, there is always a way how to do it. You can ask interpreter to be present there and communicate with the deaf people, and not to be afraid of the different communication ways. And when you get to know disabled people or deaf people, then you don't have any more or feel so much fear or some prejudices so much, and then it's easier to communicate and learn from them in your life. Also very important things. And what Christina said about meeting the people is the key here, and meet the different and meet the people who need also different kind of communicational help in their life. And that's a good advice.
Thank you, Ulla. Lauri, what advice would you give someone who is studying to become a social worker?
Oh yes, what I try to make in my work in Diakon University of Applied Science is teaching social service students in English. I try to encourage them to build up a clear and profound platform for their own professional development. There are a lot of things what students can learn by actively participating in the lectures, reading theoretical materials, and writing assignments. But that's only a couple first steps. Most important issue is a cooperation and discussions reflecting your own personal identity, professional identity with your peer students, and also sometimes with your service users. It's important to discuss with the service users how they understand that what is key role of the social worker. Quite often we think as social workers that we are people who are helping other people, but most often our service users are seeing social workers that we are representing structures and norms and laws in society, and we have to be able to face that discussion. And that's why it's important to discuss with your peer student, with your service users, about your understanding about social work and about your own social work identity with your peers.
So collaboration during studies is also very important. Well, let's talk about successful multi-professional teamwork. Lauri, what is your best tip for successful multi-professional teamwork?
We have been practicing in this Divine project cooperation between professions, interpreting, nursing, and social work students and teachers, that we have run simulation together. Multi-professional learning is about teamwork. Multi-professional learning is about making it together. For example, running simulation together with other professions.
Well, Ulla, what do you think about multi-professional teamwork? What is your tip?
My tip is patient and explain. So interpreting might be a thing that people don't know, or they have some wrong information about that, what interpreter is doing or how the sign language field is working. So be patient and explain. And you because we represent a minor culture and minor language, we cannot predict that everybody know what we know. So for example, things that had happened in the deaf people history, there is a time we call oralism, and there has been a time that hearing people want all the deaf people learn to speak, and that's a time we call oralism. But this is something that is not taught in this normal preliminary schools or even in the Finnish schools. So this is kind of minor history and people don't know it. So we cannot think that everybody knows what we know. So we need to explain, for example, why deaf people want to some things to do, that they will do that in some way. But also to be strict and inform people about the rights that the people who cannot maybe speak by themselves, that they have. They have the right to participate and right to get information. So interpreter can also have a short expert speech about this, that if somebody is, for example, saying that, oh, please don't interpret this, and this is not important, don't interpret that, and that's not okay. The deaf people and the people who have speech disabilities, they need to get the same information that all the other participants in the situation also.
Thank you, Ulla. Kristiina, how would you like to comment Ulla's and Lauri's tips?
Well, I agree, Lauri and Ulla, in this question. I think that everyone in a multi-professional team is important, and the team doesn't work if some person of the team is missing. So everyone in multi-professional team has the same aim, but look at from a little bit different point of view. And if we think about a patient or a client, co-working with multi-professional team shows like a good service and guidance. So I really agree what Ulla and Lauri said.
Kristiina, from your point of view, what might be the biggest challenge of multi-professional teamwork, and how could you overcome these challenges?
We need to know what everyone does in multi-professional team. It's very important to know each other's work, and that the work will be fluent and continuous. And that's why I think it's very important to learn multi-professional work already during studies to become informed of different positions. And that's why we are doing, for example, those simulations together, what Lauri mentioned. During those simulations, we go a little bit closer to real patient and client cases. And it's important to get the whole picture of the working on health and social care.
How about you, Ulla? Which factors might make multi-professional teamwork practice ineffective?
In my experience, I think if there is a lack of information or lack of common understanding, and sometimes it can be attitudes. If you think that we are not in the same stage, then it's very difficult to cooperate. But if everybody has a good attitude and the will to learn from each other and feeling that we are in the same boat, doing the same thing for the client, so then the multi-professional team works very well.
Thank you. Lauri, how would you like to comment Kristiina's and Ulla's opinions about the challenges related to multi-professional teamwork?
Thanks, Arja. I'm really happy about the way how Kristiina and Ulla put this question together as one package. Ulla was pointing out that we need to know other professionals in teamwork, that we need to know their main principles and their duties. And I think that Ulla was pointing out the same thing, that it's important that we understand the responsibilities, how other professionals are working. And we have to be able to trust on other members in team, and we have to be able to trust on our own flexibility. That's my point, that we all, if I'm thinking about the teamwork with social work, nursing, and interpreting, I think that most important is that each of us, Lauri, myself as a social worker, that I have to be able to be flexible and try to go over the boundaries of my own security zone, that I have to face other perspectives of the humanity when I'm working with my multi-professional partners in our teamwork.
Thank you, Lauri. Now we have talked a lot about multi-professional collaboration and its necessity. I also know that you have worked quite a lot together during projects. Learning multi-professional teamwork is also learning from diversity, including, for example, diverse cultures and languages. Diversity can also be regarded as a superpower. What is your superpower, Ulla?
What would I say? Maybe some kind of planning or organizational skills. I know how to use digital devices, and I'm quite quick reading and writing, and maybe the cultural knowledge also, but maybe the kind of quick, maybe not so much thinking, maybe more doing. That's maybe me.
Okay. How about Lauri? What is your superpower?
That's a tricky question. I think that I quite easily start to now reflect what kind of professional I hope that I am and I'm going to be. But it's perhaps more theoretical discussion, but I'm not now going to run. So I think that my superpower in social work and in multi-professional cooperation is dignity and conviviality. Dignity means for me that we respect each human being as an autonomous subject in all kinds of interactions. And for me, conviviality is a bridge to overcome boundaries to support and enable dignity to take place in practice. And conviviality is the art and practice of living together. What this has to do with professional cooperation? That's a question. In community context, conviviality is multi-ethnic interaction. Okay, multi-ethnic interaction. But what is that for professionals? I think that for professionals, conviviality means that it's multi-professional teamwork. For us, it means that when we are working together, that we are developing our ways to work from uncareness to belongingness, that we are not able to work, we are not able to study, we are not able to learn without our multi-professional cooperation. So ethos is of indifference to difference. All parts in puzzle are needed: service user, nurse, interpreter, social worker, and microbiologist. For us as academics, conviviality constitutes a radical ideal of our urban interaction.
Thank you, Lauri. How about you, Kristiina? What is your superpower?
My superpower shortly is willing to learn more all the time. I think that you will never be ready in this world or in this profession. So that's my superpower.
Well, thank you, Ulla, Lauri, and Kristiina. This was very interesting discussion moment with you. And now I thank you for listening to our podcast about multi-professional collaboration experiences. This podcast has been brought to you by the Developing Holistic Tools for Competence-Based Curricula to Promote Dignity in Vietnam and Nepal project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.